Thousands of years after the Great Sundering, the Pandarens lived peacefully on their island, Pandaria. They lived their lives behind the thick mists that shrouded their homeland. This led them to believe that the rest of Azeroth had been destroyed entirely by the terrible Sundering. But on a ranch in the Valley of the Four Winds near the village of Stoneplow, there was one young Pandaren who did not share this belief, who dreamed of distant lands far away. His name was Liu Lang. Often he talked to the other Pandarens about the possibility of lands far away across the sea. But the Pandarens were stubborn and simply didn't want to hear about it. They always told him that he should forget about it. It cannot be. Alone, he often wandered the cliffs that overwatched the sea. He stood there for hours and watched the horizon. And there he dreamed of undiscovered continents, of long-forgotten mysteries, of mysterious creatures no Pandaren had ever seen before, and of ancient ruins built by races long extinguished. He was truly convinced that there was more to this world than the peaceful island on which he and his ancestors had spent their entire life. He needed to know which mysterious lands lay across the sea. And so one day he made a daring decision. He decided that he would travel the sea to find it out. The other Pandarens thought he was crazy. They were all convinced that there was only Pandaria left. They were sure that the only thing the young Pandaren would find across the ocean was his own death. Liu Lang was obviously not quite right in his head. But Liu Lang nevertheless started to plan his expedition. He knew he needed to find a way to find back to Pandaria once he had lived through all the adventures he dreamed of. But there was a problem with that. The mists that surrounded the island made it impossible to find it again once it had been left behind. Then Liu Lang had an idea. The sea turtles which lived on Pandaria's southern coast always returned to the place of their birth. If somehow he was able to befriend one of them, the sea turtle would be able to lead him the way back home. He packed a few supplies and traveled to the coast of Krezarang Wilds. There, he found a young sea turtle. Although this sea turtle was very ordinary, Liu Lang felt a connection towards it. After a while, the two became friends, and Liu Lang was almost ready to start his great adventure. But there was one last thing to do before he could finally set sail towards the unknown. He needed to give his new sea turtle friend a name, but what should he call it? He found the answer to this question several days later in an unexpected place. Liu Lang was buying his traveling supplies at Half Hill from the merchant Shen Xin. When Shen Xin heard that Liu was setting sail on the back of his sea turtle to explore the world, he thought that Liu had lost it entirely. Mockingly, he suggested that the curious Pandaren might want to take a bamboo umbrella with him so that he would be safe from the sun on the sea. Jokingly, he offered to give him an umbrella he had for free. While Xin Su hadn't been serious about the umbrella, Liu Lang thought that this was an excellent present. He was so grateful for the bamboo umbrella that he decided to name the turtle after the merchant, Shen Xin Su. At this time, the baffled merchant didn't realize what an extreme honor this would be one day. Soon afterwards, Liu mounted Shin Sen Su and sailed through the mists that surrounded Pandaria towards unknown places. Most Pandarens expected to see Liu again soon, after he had ridden a little bit towards the sea, only to find out that there was nothing to find, and that he then would return, acknowledging what an idiot he had been. But days went by and quickly turned into weeks. A whole year went by and he still hadn't returned. When the day of his departure had his 4th anniversary, even the most positive Pandaren had to face the truth. He had obviously died. Or so they thought. Their surprise was almost infinite when after 5 years suddenly a turtle appeared on the horizon. A mounted turtle. A turtle mounted by a Pandaren, namely Liu Lang. What had happened? They gathered and listened to Liu's stories. He had gone far, far away and eventually had found land. He told them about all the wonders he had seen, about the ancient ruins he had discovered, about the torrents he met, huge cow-like creatures who lived a peaceful life in harmony with nature, about the trolls of the jungles, tall humanoid beings with huge boars who were able to recover from even the most dangerous wounds. During the 5 years, the turtle, Shensin Su, had grown a lot. It was now large enough to carry at least 3 people, maybe even more. Liu Lang had enjoyed every single moment of his journey, but there was one single thing he had missed. He had missed company. During the 5 years of his journey, he had sometimes felt lonely. Liu was sure that he would ride out into the sea again, but he hoped that one of the other Pandarens would join him this time. Liu Lang talked about his fantastic experiences. He hoped that at least one Pandaren would join him for his next adventure. But no one wanted to come with him. No matter what Liu said, there wasn't a single one of them who wanted to join him. It was at this very moment that Liu understood what was going on. The other Pandarens weren't stubborn about the fact that there could be no island on the ocean except for Pandaria. They were afraid of it. So once again, he set his sails alone. But after a few days on the ocean, he noticed a single boat was following him. It was a lone, brave soul named Shinisi. Liu was overwhelmed. Shinisi joined him on the back of Shensi Su, and together they explored the world. After a short while, the two became friends, and soon afterwards lovers. Shinisi became Liu's wife. While the two went through countless events, the thirst of adventure awoke in many Pandarens. Liu's stories of the faraway cow-like trolls and the immortal torrents of the jungle made a few young Pandarens find their courage. These Pandars often stared across the ocean, hoping that Liu Lang would come again and take them with him. This even became the origin of the term waiting for the turtle, something someone was called when caught gazing towards the horizon for no particular reason. After 5 years, Liu and Shinisi returned with even more thrilling stories. The turtle Shensin Su had grown even bigger during their journey, and the next time the two of them set off, a lot of Pandaren joined them. Liu and Shinisi should return to Pandaria every 5 years from then on, and every 5 years the turtle grew bigger and more Pandaren joined them. It appeared as if Shensin Su never stopped to grow. Soon there was enough space on its back to build some small huts. Then there was space to even build a small village. As the years passed, misty mountains and lakes formed atop the turtle's shell. Eventually, the adventurous Pandaren living on the turtle's back would give the living island the name the Wandering Isle. At the age of 122, Liu Lang made his final voyage from Pandaria. He went to the place which should later be known as the Wood of Staves, on the back of Shensin Su, his loyal companion. He opened the bamboo umbrella which the merchant had given him so long ago, the umbrella which had accompanied him on every single one of his adventures, and placed it into the ground. Like this, he sat there underneath its cooling shade, closed his eyes, became one with the land, and fell asleep. It was a sleep from which he should never awake. The second he left the world of the living, his umbrella suddenly sprouted. It grew roots, flowered, it became a tree. Shinisi and the other Pandarens found him there. They built him a grave at exactly this place. He has been lying there until this very day on the back of the huge turtle which he had befriended long ago. The bereaved mourned for him for a long time, but they also remembered something he had once said: "Never mourn a life well lived." Shensin Su travels through the oceans until this very day with all the adventurous Pandaren on its back. But since the death of Liu Lang, it has never returned to Pandaria.